Dear sisters, this situation of mine is dicey. I'm a project manager in an NGO here in Accra that works with youth on personal and business development. Throughout my career at this agency, I have mentored a lot of young people who have gone on to become successful in their careers. Many I admire and am proud to be associated with. Recently, I came across a mentee from 5 years ago at a church convention, and we reconnected instantly. We started communicating again and even spent time going to networking and social events together. I haven't ever thought of anything intimate or romantic other than just a casual relationship. However, I have seen that this gentleman has grown quite fond of me. He's jokingly asked my hand in marriage on random occasions, and I have just brushed it off. Nonetheless, as I was praying recently about marriage, the thought of him came to mind. I was wondering if he could be the one, but I worry he may be younger than me. Even so, I'm not too bothered because of the age difference, because this might be insignificant. My main problem is his dental health. He has discolored teeth, and I cannot fathom kissing him. I can give this relationship a try, but before I do, Bosu would have to do something about his dental hygiene. How do I approach this situation, and how do I let him know my concern? I enjoy kissing and PDA, and honestly, his teeth situation is a major problem for me besides everything else. Sisters, his teeth, sisters, is discolored. Yellow. Probably not yellow, maybe with brown things in it. The worst part if it has plaques.
Yeah,
hey,
like old plaque.
Oh my God.
Plaque that has been laid on top of each other.
On each other. Like, you see, as I'm talking about it,
yeah.
My goodness, what's been happening?
Look, I want to cry. It's a serious issue.
Yeah.
And it's like...
No, but I understand her. You know why I understand her? Because,
yes.
like, for me, before I actually engage with anything, like, your mouth is the first thing I look at. So if there's a smell coming out from him, if your tongue is white, if there's a plug, like,
So, you see, dental hygiene, especially when it comes to intimacy, is way up there. Sometimes even more than the sex act itself. Because no couple that love each other can start the process and just lie down and just connect.
Right.
It's not like a socket and situation where you are just plugging a charger into a phone. That's not how that level of intimacy works. And it's the kissing, the holding, that's what sets the tone and the mood for both people to enjoy it. Now, I'm taking the whole message that she sent. Let me do the dental part first before I tackle the age gap thing. So for me personally, I am also somebody who actually enjoys kissing. So it's important, like you said, that the mouth hygiene is good, not just the teeth, in between the teeth, the tongue, like you said, very, very important, because most of the time when you are going through, especially when you have infections and things like that, sometimes the tongue is the first thing that gives you away to tell whether you have an infection or not, because it just settles on your tongue, or the person eats and continuously never brushes their tongue, so you have food deposits consistent in your tongue. I see people, they are laughing, they are doing videos, they are sticking their tongues out, and then all you can see is a white plague, thick white plague. It's very disgusting, and that's what leads to some of the mouth odors that we have, except for the ones that come from the head, or maybe there's a sore somewhere or whatever, but it leads to a lot of mouth odors. So personally, if this gentleman is somebody that you truly care about, you connect on all levels, I don't understand why you haven't even told him yet about his mouth condition. It will even be easier as a friend to tell him than even as a girlfriend, sort of.
Right.
Because the person is your friend, you guys gel, you guys connect. Just ask each other, what's up with your teeth? I mean...
Is this how you were born?
No, not even the what's up with your teeth? Maybe you are eating and there's something between your teeth. There's something in your teeth, the color of your teeth. Like, Is it normal or what is it? You know, sometimes you can make it look like you are just concerned, you are just curious. It's important because you can't have a relationship and say that I would never kiss him. Or even on your wedding day, you may kiss the bride. What are you going to do? Are you going to, because I've seen videos when the ladies are like, maybe I'm going to do one of those things in the video.
Wait, people actually take their heads off?
Well, I've seen a couple of videos where people are like, you know, like, don't kiss me.
So the mouth is smiling or something?
I don't know what it is.
Hey.
But they're like that. I'm like, look, it's even more embarrassing, and people will not be insulting you like, oh, if you know you didn't want it, why did you take him to the altar and things like that? So as for hygiene, is very important. Personally, for me, it's one of the number one things I look at. If you're a man, your first smile, I need to make your teeth is correct. Even when you talk to me if eating and there's food stuck in between your teeth and you're talking to me, that's all I can say. I can't even hear you. Whilst you are talking, all I can see is the food stuck in your teeth. And that's why I floss a lot. I floss with almost anything, with thread, with dental floss, sometimes with even polythene that I tear and floss, because to be honest, I just can't stand things in between my teeth. I get very upset when I see it. Okay, so that being said, now when it comes to the age gap, it depends. I don't know the age gap between you and this man, whether it's 1 year, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. Now, maturity doesn't come along with age. So there are people who are young, who act mature and can hold their own. There are also people who are old, who act like teenagers. They are also there. It's important to know the kind of person that you're with, to see how mature he is. But then again, when you're a woman and you're dealing with someone who is not mature, who is not old, as in you're older than, what happens is that in the quest to make the man feel like you are the man, you tend to lower a lot of your standards.
Yes.
Because you don't want the man...
reduce expectations.
And reduce expectations, because you don't want the man to think that because you're older than him, you have higher expectations of him. So there are some things that if you're dating an older man, you probably will not let slide. But if you're dating a younger man, because you don't want to be seen as towering over him because of your age, you let slide. So it's important that you see him through and through as your man, and act with him according to how you would act with a man if the man was a year older, 2 years older, or 5 years older than you. So don't think that, oh, you feel bad the way I'm old and I'm insisting on this, you think that it's because of my age. Don't do that. So you know the person you are with, you know how mature he is, his presentation, his ideologies on issues. You can't know anybody at a glance or at a go, but it will give you an indication as to how comfortable you should be in getting you some kind of a... But my advice to you is that don't lower your standards for anybody. Whether the person is older than you or younger than you, don't lower your standards for anybody. So dental health, by all means, tell him for the age thing, it's a number, but in some cases it's not just a number.
Right.
It's an indication of where your man is at. Because human beings go through life cycles. We have the cycle, there was popping cycle where everything is, you know, easy go, you are changing partners, you are the age. So when you earn your first salary, you think, oh Charlie, you've arrived. And it gets to a stage, you start getting more serious, more about family and things like that. Everybody goes through cycles. So sometimes when your partner hasn't gone through that cycle, whilst you are
some people actually remain in certain cycles for a very long time.
So you need to assess all of these things. You don't want to be in a situation where you are at a stage in life and he is not there. He's not there, like he's somewhere. Yes, he knows he wants to be with you, but he's not ready for certain things. You know, and those things can eat you up, because those things are not wrong, but they are just not right for you at that point in time. So you know the person you are with, assess the person and see what you can come up with. But the decision is actually yours, basically.
Teacher.
First of all, I would like to denounce the notion and the thought, because I could sense that in the letter where she says she was praying about marriage, and then the guy, the thought of him came to mind. And that God is not sharing husband. He's given us free will to choose who we want to be with. So, of course, you hear a lot of these stories. My pastor said I'm supposed to be married to this person, and then I think it's just a lie from the pit of hell, intended to, you know, put people in a certain category or box. Now let's move away from that. Dental hygiene, personal hygiene in general, is one thing that a lot of women, if not all, a lot of women look out for. I first of all look at your teeth, then I come to your feet. Are your feet ashy? Is your shoe crooked? Is it like, are you taking care of yourself generally? You know, a person's shirt, general hygiene is a big deal for most women, so I can totally relate to where she's coming from with that. If your teeth is brown as a man and you've not noticed to take care, and let me digress a bit. This is where, as parents, we have a lot of responsibility towards our children.
Yeah.
God could have just dropped them like manna on earth, but he decided to give them to someone, for them to come through someone, because on earth you are supposed to be the guide to these children. And as mothers, and especially mothers and fathers, there's a role that we have to play. And these are examples of how, if you don't take care of your kids, they turn out to become. Because if, even as teenagers, when kids, from babies, there's so much you have to do to inculcate in them hygiene, learning, everything that you are supposed to train a child with. And this is a typical example of somebody who hasn't taken care of it for so long.
Yes.
Which is why I'm bringing up that part of parenting. It's important to notice some of these things in kids. They are not just there for you to dote on them, for you to feed them and get them to sleep well. It's for you to notice the things about them that they need to make changes to as they grow. Like hygiene, because now your child is there looking for someone to be with, and they are noticing all these things about them, like men who don't clean after themselves well, like men who just throw things about in the house, they don't wash, they don't clean, nothing. There are men who are just brought up like that. You know, I remember a long time ago I dated one guy who, even after eating, he wouldn't wash his hands. How were you brought up?
Wow.
You know, he can
where he can eat with his hands.
Yes.
Oh my God.
If you give him food
eat
to
with his hand and not wash his hands.
Yeah, he'll eat with his hands. If you don't bring him water to wash his hands, he will just lie there with the hands
and it will dry.
And it will dry.
And then he'll,
like, how were you brought up?
God.
You know, who trained you like that? You know, so these are things that we need to look at as parents. Now, back to the issue itself. It is important that we are honest with people. It is very important. The least you can do at this point is to find a nice way of saying it, but be honest with the gentleman from the get-go. Don't let him. You see, one thing I don't like is you try to find corner way of doing things with people so that you don't hurt their ego. If your ego needs to be bruised for the right thing to be done, do it. Shall we do that? In a nice way, of course. I mean, I'm not saying he should just go and tell the guy,
your mouth is very brown, very brown.
Go and do something about it. I think what she can do in this case is probably take her to a dentist. You know, I booked an appointment for both of us to go and see the dentist, you know, so that they have him checked thoroughly while you're also there having yourself checked, so that it's not like it's a one-sided thing. That would be a cool thing to do, like one of your date sessions. Plus, I think she should be very careful with this person, because one, generally when people are not hygienic, it's not just one area.
Yes.
Then it means sitting down there, he probably is not, you know, cleaning. It's a lot of things. So she needs to take this slowly, observe him well. Where are the other areas he's not hygienic with? Because your mouth, everybody sees your mouth. When you're talking to people, when you're up close with people, even when you're far away, people can see your mouth. What about the other sides they are not seeing? How are you keeping that place? So, and for me, these things matter to me, which is why I'm bringing it up, because I know it matters to a lot of other women as well. So she needs to check him on all other levels and see if it's something she can deal with. What if the brown teeth doesn't go? Because it's been brown since he was 5.
He can bleach it.
Okay.
And now there are a lot of dental procedures.
Exactly.
So
if you're ready to go the long haul with
this, like, have we thought that maybe his natural teeth
naturally brown? So the thing is, ask yourself, is this a deal breaker for you? It's one thing we women don't do very well. Once you meet someone, because you want to be married, because you feel like you've gone to the point where you need to be married, society is expecting you to be married,
and she's actually praying.
Exactly, you start praying for marriage, you go and settle for someone, and then now you don't enjoy kissing the person. And once you don't enjoy kissing someone, and you're somebody who likes kissing, then it means you are not going to enjoy sex. So it's a chain of things that are going to affect the relationship in the long haul. So she really needs to sit down, assess herself. Is this going to be a deal breaker? If it is, my sister, nobody has tied you to this man. It's even the beginning. Look out there, cast your net wide as you can. There are many men in the world. Now, also to the age matter, generally growing up, I never thought age was going to be an issue. I always knew that a man is supposed to be older, at least 10 years or 5 years older.
Ooh,
yeah. Like I'm one of those people, I wouldn't mind marrying someone even if they are 20 years older. That's always been my vibe, you know. 10 years, 20, I don't mind.
That's to take care of you.
It's not
baby
that.
girl treatment.
It's not just that. So long as they are older, there's a feeling of you are his baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like baby girl treatment. Like you're older there, right?
But she likes soft life.
not necessarily just soft life, like in terms of finances.
You like
it's
to be pampered.
It's the mind.
Yeah.
For me, it's the mind. Men naturally, they get to a certain point in age, and then you start to see the maturity. Most of them. There are very few people who are old souls. Even though they are young, you can still see a sense of maturity and, you know, a sense of protectiveness.
Yeah, that's very important.
Because that's what I want personally. I want that you are older, you are matured in your thinking, in your thought process, in how you handle women. Because sometimes when they are a lot more experienced like that and they've been through it, been there, done that, when they get to you, it's like, oh, this is how women need to be treated. So that's been it for me. But also, I've seen that a lot of women have been with men who are way younger, and it's worked. We can mention names in Ghana, but I wouldn't go there. But even if we go to Hollywood, for example, you have Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra, who are like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, who have 10-year age gap, and it's worked perfectly.
No, and you know, for them, Hollywood kind of like works because the women
take care. Exactly, they take care of themselves, and the women look younger.
There's
because
no stress.
They take care of themselves.
But if you're in a situation that you are very stressed, it looks like your child.
So for me, if the age is not going to be a matter, then it means the man has to be an old soul. Because every woman wants certain specific things to be done to them and for them. And sometimes it comes easier when the man is older. That's been it for me.
Right.
So I hope that she looks at all these things before she settles in with somebody who is younger than her. But aside from that, it shouldn't be an issue. Again, it's all based on your observation of this person. Take your time. There is no rush. Pray to God if you need to do it for 1 year, but do not rush into anything, because once you rush into a marriage or a relationship that ties you to somebody that you are not necessarily in love with, and there are lots of deal breakers, it means you are setting yourself up for failure. And why go into something when you've noticed signs on the wall that it could be? So it means you, in this peculiar case, need to take time and get to know this person a lot more. How is their thinking process like? How is their general hygiene like? Aside from the teeth, are there other areas you need to look at? If you are ready to be a man trainer, go for it.
Wow, like Bob the Builder too.
Or maybe go jogging with him one day, let him sweat.
And then you could
see his natural.
But personally, I feel like once you pick someone that you have to train, sometimes the likelihood that you have to now train them for someone else is high, because then now when they get into that ranking, they now feel like, oh, okay, now I have better options. So I prefer a man who's already been trained by his mother.
Right. Okay. I actually like the fact that we are talking about this, because a lot of time people do not realize how, people will call it little things, but they are not little things.
They are not at all.
No, in fact, the little things are the deal breakers.
The whole dental issue. And you know, ironically, this March 20th was World Dental Day.
Imagine that. You know, another thing that's an absolute turn off, a man who doesn't take off his nails.
Or grows very long.
Why are you growing long nails?
It's so disgusting.
Yeah, they say to scratch their hair.
Yeah, it's an immediate deal breaker.
I'm thinking that your nail is probably always in your ear or scratching something.
Once I see that, we are not going anywhere.
Yeah, especially when they leave one nail so long, it's so upsetting.
So like lots of things.
Yeah, so, and just to buttress what you said, Charlie, the little things are the deal breakers, because the little things cannot be put in the bracket of black or white. And it sits on your mental health.
Once you see people who are able to not take care of the things that are visible, it's likely they are not taking care of the invisible ones as well. As in the ones people can see easily on the outside. It's likely they are not taking care of the ones people cannot see. They are probably not washing their boxers for 2 weeks.
Most likely.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, You know what, sisters? I think this was quite straightforward. This is the first time we're all agreeing with each other, and I hope the sister is also watching and listening, and she makes the right decision from everything we said. But it's time for us to take a quick break, and we will be right back to get into the second letter. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back.